What's up guys, this is Dark Magician here and welcome to another KOF video. So guys, after the good Christmas event that we had and after the arrival of Mizuchi and Duolon together in 1 month, here we get another good new boss, which is Ice Doll Kula. And here I have to say that we have been getting a lot of tempting bosses the past few months, and yeah, the order is getting messed up again. But well, because of Kei's let's say early arrival to the game, we did anticipate that Kula will be soon. So here she is guys, Ice Doll Kula is here. So yeah, today's introduction will be for Ice Doll Kula. Okay guys, so Kula is an API 15 tank, and as you can see the stats, you have moderate stats and a good block rate as a typical tank. Now here the feature says ice protection and freezing control. Now ice protection, because here we're gonna see something that we have seen with Elizabeth, which is the shield. Kula has the ability to get a shield, so that's why the feature says ice protection. And freezing control, because like the API 14 Kula, she is able to freeze opponents. So she's a mixture of tank and let's say control, a CC dealer, a very good CC dealer, as well as we're gonna see in the skills below. So starting with the fates now, the first one, Nest's theme, we need Ice Doll Kula, Foxy and Angel, increasing attack plus 25%. We have K team, we need Ice Doll Kula, Transcendence K and Maxima 14, so the team of KOF 14, of course Maxima should be here anytime soon, I suppose, increasing HP plus 25%. And Beauty Girl, we need Ice Doll Kula, Athena 2002, Yuri and Momoko, increasing HP by 25%. So as you can see, two good fates, easy to unlock. This one is exclusive for the ones that are going for the full team from KOF 14. But anyway, the weapon, her weapon is Ice Skate, and she uses Gale Badge and Mana Tome. Now going to her fight soul, it's called the Ice Tortoise Soul. So what it is, gain 44 rage when being hit and gain a large amount of rage initially. So it's a mixture of Tortoise Soul and a Bear Soul in one. Now let's start with the skills and the passive. Ice Doll. So gain Ice Shield when deployed. The HP of the shield is 50% of her max HP. Again, like Elizabeth, she does start with a shield. Ice Doll Kula is immune to stunning, paralysis, silence and petrification debuff with the shield as long as the shield is on, and increase on resistance and small skill resistance and ultimate resistance by 30%. So she does get those buffs when the shield is on. In addition to that, increase on resistance rate and small skill resistance and ultimate resistance rate for the first 2 rounds when the ice shield is gained. But here, so she gets those buffs when she gets the shield, but if the shield is broken, that buff will be only there for 1 round and not for 2 rounds. So she should have her shield on to get those buffs. If there is only one fighter on both sides, increase the damage and the ultimate damage by 50% for the whole fight. So that's appropriate in tournaments or in 1 versus 1 fights. She will get a lot of good damage boosts as well. Now the good part here, immediately freeze own self when receiving lethal damage and dispel own debuff including petrification, and can't be selected as the target. So here Kula, when she receives a fatal hit, she will freeze herself and she won't be targeted. She can't be targeted the whole round. And the freezing status will be removed when own round starts. So whenever we get our round again, she will remove this freezing, and her own HP and rage will restore by 30% and 300 respectively, such that this effect can be only activated once in each fight. Okay, and Ice Doll Kula is immune to freeze and frost freeze effect. Now here there are 2 types of freezing, which are, the second one is quite different from the one we know, and I'm gonna talk on that in the ultimate. Okay, but she is immune to those 2 types of freezing, and 150 rage will be restored whenever her rage is decreased in enemies round. So that's again appropriate as well. And here the interference skill, of course, the skill needed in every team, decrease attack of all enemies for the whole fight and decrease the resistance of all enemies for 2 rounds as well. So not only the attack of the whole enemies by 15%, but also the resistance for 2 rounds as well, which is, I think, something new. We haven't seen such passive, an additional part to the interference skill before. Okay, now here I need to mention the lake element here. What improvements does the lake element give? I need to mention that she gets 20% extra skill probability, so she can make her minor skill more by 20%, and it can stack actually. And she gets full rage and an ice shield whenever she, well, not resurrect, but whenever she removes the freezing on herself, she will get another shield, and you know, she will gain full rage after that. So definitely the lake element is needed for her, and it will make her improve a lot. Now, going to her minor skill, Ray Spin. Attack the enemies in a column and absorb 200 rage of the main target, and there is a 30% chance to freeze the main target for 1 round, and increase own block and anti-crit by 20%, and restore own shield duration by 20%. So that's actually nice. From her minor skill, she is able to, let's say, gain an additional chunk of her shield. But if she doesn't have her shield on, then instead she will gain 10% of her own max HP if there is no shield, and deal 20% extra damage to the target that is frozen by this attack. So again, a mixture of control, a mixture of damage, a mixture of tanking, you know, she's a combination of all. And again, mentioning her thunder element, in addition to all what we've mentioned, she has a 35% chance to do a flash freezing. Again, just hold on a bit, and I'm gonna talk about the flash freezing after her ultimate. Of course, it includes also, you know, increases in numbers and everything, but I'm just mentioning the most important parts of the lakes, of the elements over here. And finally, her ultimate, Diamond Arena. Attack all enemies. The fewer the enemies, the higher the damage of this attack. Of course, it can reach up to 120% increase at most. Increase own attack, defense, and anti-crit by 20%. And decrease the damage of the enemy whose rage is higher than 500 by 20%. And there is a 50% chance to freeze 2 enemies for 1 round, and decrease the anti-crit and the healing rate of the frozen target by 20%, and deal damage that is equal to 8% of max HP to the frozen target. You see, always damage which is worth a certain percentage is always good, especially for, let's say, non-damage dealers. So this way they can actually be accountable for a little bit of damage as well. Okay, and in addition to that, activate the terrain effect Arctic Realm. I'm gonna post, of course, a screenshot of it here, but it's the background. Unlike Kay's, let's say, lava background, here it will be a snowy background for Kula. Now, what does this background give her? The effect, of course, will last the whole fight, but the effect will lose efficacy when the fighters in the battle switch the terrain. So that's how, let's say, Kula and Kay counter each other. So it depends on the ones which will, let's say, change the background. Now here, actually, funny thing, which is that they do have a common background. If they were, let's say, together in the team sheet, they can have a third background, as I've mentioned before in Kay's introduction video. But later on, I think there will be fighters which can change other backgrounds as well. So that's kind of like, it depends on the background that will predominate over here. But anyway, whenever the background is there, Ice Doll Kula will gain the Freezing Heart effect for 2 rounds, such that if the terrain is Arctic Realm, will decrease rage restoration speed of all enemies by 30%. This is quite a good passive, let's say. All enemies will be affected by that, and it won't be dispelled. So as long as the background is there, it won't be dispelled, no matter how much they cleanse the debuff or anything. It's undispellable. And the effect to the skill ignores the immunity to debuff except the freezing effect. Anyway, as usual. And he need to mention that after the weapon awakens, the effect will be improved in all-round way. Ice Doll Kula's freeze effect improves to frost freeze effect. So again, now here I should mention what's the difference between the freeze and the frost freeze effect. I'm gonna put 2 screenshots which will you can see the freezing effect, the one that we already know, and the frost freezing effect. The difference between them is that the frost freezing effect can't be dispelled from the first time. So it's like a second level freezing, such that if you dispel the debuff for freezing, it will be simply dispelled. But if you try to clean the debuff for frost freezing, it won't be dispelled. So you need to do it twice in order to remove the frost freezing. So that's why Kula is an amazing CC dealer. Aside from her being a good tank, she is a great control. She's a great CC dealer. Okay. Now, in addition to that, the weapon, also the damage after weapon awakening will not restore the rage, so this is actually good. And I did mention the frost freezing effect. And finally, the water element, the smacks here, which you know, a lot of people ask for. Now, she will target the enemy with the highest attack after her smacks is awakened, and she has a 70% chance to perma-freeze. Again, a third level of freezing here, which is permanent. So this perma-freeze can't be dispelled. No matter how much you try, this perma-freeze won't be dispelled. So again, an amazing CC dealer. And the perma-freeze will include a 100% decrease in rage restoration. So the opponent, the perma-frozen opponent, won't be able to restore any rage. And funny thing, which is that it is guaranteed in the first time. So the first ultimate, she will perma-freeze somebody for sure. And this somebody will remain perma-frozen for this one round without restoring any rage. So that's pretty good. And of course, she will have an additional 50% chance to flash freeze one extra target. So it's all about the good control that she have. Okay, whether it was perma-freeze, whether it was the frost freeze, both are great control types that she gets benefit from. Okay guys, so that was just a an introduction to her skills and her gates as well. And here I need to mention now her gate partners, of course, are Angel, Foxy, and Kula. API 14 Kula, good gate partners, not hard to work on actually. So the question here remains, is Kula a good fighter or not? Yeah, honestly here, she's a character a lot of people have been waiting for, especially being a tank. Now here, yeah, we did get some good tanks, including Ralph basically, and Oswald, which is still functional, and poor Duolon, actually he didn't get much attention, although he is a good tank, I might say. But Kula offers something more. She offers a bit of everything, and especially I really emphasize on the control part. She is an amazing CC dealer, and she would be very annoying to battle, honestly. And especially her passive, reducing the rage restoration speed for everybody, that's quite amazing actually. Now, so she is quite tanky, having the shield, having the ability to get another shield, recovering HP and everything. She's amazing, an amazing tank, and definitely a good option for all teams actually. Again, a good CC dealer. In terms of damage, I might say she is not really reliable for damage, but as a tank, at least she can do some decent damage. Okay, but definitely not reliable as a main damage dealer, of course. Now, front or backwards, of course she's better at the front because she's the tank that you need. She's the tank that you rely on for tanking, so it's definitely better to put her at the front. In which teams do I recommend her? Pretty much all teams as well. She is really flexible, she works in all teams. She would be a good replacement for Elizabeth in female teams, I would say, at this point, because I know a lot of female teams, including myself, are still using Elizabeth. If you want, let's say, one tank to choose from, then definitely she can replace Elizabeth, or you can just use them both together. That would be totally fine. But I feel that Elizabeth has lost, let's say, her importance at this stage of the game. And aside from that, in all other teams, she would be a great tank, and allow me to say the best tank at this stage to use. Okay, so yeah, that was her regarding her placement and everything. Now going through her runes, which runes are good for her. Now here I would say something which is close to Elizabeth, because both of them do have their shields on. Although I usually love Heart of Thorns because it makes them regain HP and everything, but I think that such fighters don't really need them, because as long as they do have the shield on, their HP won't be affected. So that's why I would prefer shifting from Heart of Thorns to Protector Soul in this case, because you saw how good she does have a good block rate, and her minor skill allows her to gain additional anti-crit and extra block, and again the Protector Soul will give her additional anti-crit and block rate. So that would be amazing actually, and the more she blocks, the more rage she will recover, and she will decrease rage for the ones who attack her. So yeah, I would say Protector Soul would be the ideal one for her, for such fighters which have shields on. Okay, if you don't want to put Protector, then yeah, maybe you can go for Earth's Heart. But aside from that, I would say Protector Soul is the best one for her. And finally, going through the 5th Fight Soul, which 5th Fight Soul can be good for her. Here I would say the Unyielding. Yeah, where's the Unyielding? Yeah, there it is. So the Unyielding pretty much being the best Fight Soul for tanks, and especially as you level this skill up, and pretty much because it's easy to get. We get this book for free after spending 7k in the events. So Unyielding would be the perfect one for her, especially this part. Actually, she can be reliable a bit, of course, on damage, because the more she survives, the more ultimate damage she will get, and she targets all opponents. So this is actually pretty good as well. And of course, increasing resistance in every round. It's just the ideal Fight Soul for a tank. Aside from that, yeah, I don't think you can make good use of anything else. I mean, Storm would be, let's say, good in a way, just for the control, but no, actually I think you can benefit on Storm for other ones. okay, like I don't know, Misuchi, like Mature for example. Storm is just better on other fighters that can do more, okay, more than that. So yeah, just go with the unyielding if it's possible, or any other one that causes debuff if you have unyielding on somebody else. So yeah guys, that was my my short introduction video for Ice Doll Kula. Let me know if you're going for her. What do you think about her? Actually, it's pretty good. She's gonna be a good challenge for most of us actually, and I'm pretty sure we will see her a lot in arena. So yeah, let me know your thoughts about her guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.